Good evening. My name is Marilyn, and I am doing a series of videos regarding Jonathan Puddle's You Are Enough 30-day devotional, learning to love yourself the way God loves you. It's a remarkable 30-day devotional that has changed my life, and I was so excited about it that as I was chatting with the leadership team at my church, Cambridge Community Church here in southwestern Ontario, they caught the vision for it and they asked if I would facilitate a study on this book and all that it has for us. And so I said I would also do a video series, just a slight update for anyone who could not make it to our meeting online or in person. And it would also be a tool we could use in the future. So welcome to my kitchen table. The day is wrapping up, my dishes are done, my feet are flat on the floor, and I have a cup of tea. And I hope the same for you, that you have a moment to just breathe. Grab a cup of tea and join me, will you? Jonathan Puddle is a remarkable man that I met through a faith and mental health book club, this book being the one that we studied first. And it turned out that he was local to me here in southwestern Ontario. And I started to follow him on social media, and I find he is a remarkable husband, an amazing father, and a loving pastor, as well as an author that wants us to know how we have been created and how that is the way God wants to connect with us, through us, his creation, designed for community with him, so that we can learn to love ourselves, so that we can love him and our neighbor. So in this book, we learn that we are not designed to do. We are designed to be. Day one ends after a beautiful spiritual mind thought journey exercise. It ends with, remember that you are a dream of God himself from before time began. And it's an amazing concept that Jonathan takes us through, that we were thought of and we are created in the image of a triune God. So there are parts of ourselves that are not just one person. We represent ourselves in different ways, in different manners throughout our entire lives, because God himself is not one entity. He's one God. Father, Son, and Spirit. And even though the English language holy text, the Bible, is very masculine in its talk of God, the being of the divine God is a non-binary being. And that means that there are mother characteristics as well as father characteristics in the parental part of God. The Spirit is actually quite feminine, and Jesus, of course, quite masculine. And so we have to think through all the different mixes and molds that makes. And we are here to connect with that divine creator God. And he wants us being, not just doing. And the moment we come into this world wailing, the world puts pressure on us to do, to act a certain way. Stop crying, stop crying. It's okay. You got to sleep here, you got to sleep there, you got to sleep now, you got to sleep not now because you won't sleep later, right? Even as an infant, we were being molded and shaped by the external things going on in our lives. Which is so true, because we are designed for rhythm. We are designed for rest. We are designed for work, but we are made to be. We are not our work. Okay? And so when we intro into this book, week 1, so it's 30 days devotional, and you start, they're really quite short, but it starts by learning about who that God is that we serve in the first place, and how God names us. Do you have a nickname that you had growing up? I had one, and it was Sweet Stink. I had more than one. but this was one I remember. I had a bookmark that went into my Bible, and it looked like it was an embroidered cloth with a plastic sticky like lamination on top of it. It had a Bible and my name, its meaning, and a Bible verse. And the Bible verse that went with it was 2 Corinthians 2:15. Our lives are a Christ-like fragrance rising up to God. But this fragrance is perceived differently by those who are being saved and by those who are perishing. And so it was all about fragrance, and how a life lived for God is as though it is a beautiful perfume aroma throughout the world, and it will just waft through. I don't know if you remember from high school physics class the concept of Brownian motion, where a scent particle will travel through the air. So it might be really concentrated here, but then it will travel to people in other places in the space. And that's why we have air fresheners, right? That's why we have perfume on our bodies. Deodorant, if you've got teenagers, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's a blessed fragrance. That's what my name actually means. A Christ-like fragrance. But I was reading this, and I knew how to read the words. I was so young, so young. And I know I was probably junior kindergarten young, so 4 or 5 at the most, because I remember what house we were in. And so I was asking my dad, like, what does it mean? I don't understand what it means. I knew what the words were and I could read it, but I didn't know what it meant. And without thinking, he just went, sweet stink. And it stuck. It stuck. And it was a term of endearment and a term of affection. But I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Because to me, stink was negative. There were other nicknames that I had that were negative, or attribute terms used to describe me growing up. Cute, bossy, brat, kiddo. And then I grew up and I became mom. And I'm honored to be called friend. And I have so much to offer this world. And I've learned that now. And one of the things I've learned is that I matter and that I am enough. I am not disposable. So my friend, neither are you. You are enough because of how you've been designed by God. Jonathan Peddle gives us an understanding that the divine creator made us to be enough for the life that he has given us. And when we live in community and are impacted by external forces, our original selves are altered and it changes over time. And often that leads to us masking or taking on coping personality traits that we think will help us navigate through this difficult world. There are times in a crowd when I will be very, very chatty, overly chatty, annoyingly chatty. And I'm masking and I am coping because I'm terrified. One, I don't want to be in the corner alone, overlooked, anonymous. And 2, I don't want you to necessarily know that I'm struggling with my depression or I'm struggling with having a good day today. So I'm going to put on a smile and I'm going to pretend everything's okay. And those that really know me know. They know. But those that don't and don't need to know, just think I am a gregarious extrovert that loves being the center of attention. And I'm exhausted and dying inside. But it's a coping personality trait that I have developed over time. And it is now part of who I am. These traits could be to protect us from large-scale trauma that we experience, like abuse, loss of a parent or sibling, a loss of control. Jonathan describes a cross-continental move that he had to make when he was it was an intercontinental. It was from New Zealand to Canada. That's not just across a continent. That's across the world. And he just had no control. And nor should he have had control. A 6-year-old cannot determine the fate of the family, right? But at the same time, it was a trauma that he had to cope with And he put on some personality traits in order to cope with this loss of control. They can also be due to seemingly lesser things, like those terms we were just talking about. You're bossy, you're too talkative, you're lazy, or you're a disrespectful student. No, I could have undiagnosed ADD. Thank you very much. Right? Like, it might not be what at first it seems to be. We alter who we are to fit into somebody else's expectations. Sure, there are societal expectations and compromises that we must conform to for the greater good of our social contract. Like, I don't know, wearing pants in public. But when we lose our original selves in the process, we unconsciously learn to ignore the parts of us that are screaming to be heard. That screaming, constant desire and need to be seen and heard ends up coming to the forefront through physical pain, through mental health struggles, and we can lose relationships and allow ourselves to be drawn into unhealthy situations because of these things. And it's all because something within us on a spiritual level needs to be seen. My dad was a high school math teacher, calculus whiz. And he had a first day of class message to every single first day class he ever had. And that was a lot because, you know, he's in his 70s. So he taught a lot of kids over the years. And what he said at the beginning of every class was, you get out of math what you put into math. And the same is here. Jonathan can only lead us so far. He can share with us his own experiences and literally hand us the toolbox. But you must put in the work. You must. It's simple, but it is not easy. You will have private moments that are just between yourself and the Spirit. And then there might be things you need to share. So share at the end of this YouTube in the comments, and people can engage here. But no matter what, I encourage you to try to make time to do this daily in your 30 days. Or even every other day. Make it a 60-day journey. But the journey is best walked slowly, but at a steady pace. Trying to cram, for those of you in our group at Cambridge Community Church, trying to cram on a Monday morning to get everything ready for our Monday night session, it won't work. But then neither will doing everything on Tuesday, saying I've got my homework done, I'll just go on with the rest of my week. This is not a watch a video, fill in the blanks kind of study. And it will change you if you put the work in. You may trip up. You may need to pull off the road for a little bit and have a nap. You may discover some very serious things about yourself. But get back on the road. Get back moving forward. It's okay to take a break. It's not okay to quit. And so this week, Jonathan's going to take us through a quick foreword and introduction, and I would encourage you not to skip those. You can get a hard copy of the book by ordering it on Amazon or through jonathanpuddle.com. And you can also get it on audiobook, Scribed, you know, all kinds of virtual platforms. So go for it, get it. And if you are not able to sit and read, then don't. Get audio and listen to it, but let it sink in. My dad also says that I'm his apple cider kid. My brother's really good at debating on the spot. I'm better at giving you a 20-page essay to tell you what I've discovered and how things have worked for me and what my thesis is for any given topic. And so I mull. I get an idea and I mull and I mull and I mull and I mull and I study and I mull and I pray and I mull and I meditate and I study and so if I have a theology and then I'm altering my standpoint on that specific thing or just anything in the world really, Do I want to wear jeans or yoga pants? Even making a decision as to what to wear in a day. Like, that's why for decades I was in a uniform, so I didn't have to choose what to wear in any given day. But nothing is quick with me. And so this is perfect for me because nothing is quick about this journey. It is a process that you will get something out of if you put the work in. So take a cup of tea, let it steep. Get an apple cider, let it mull. Whatever it is, just let this spiritual journey take root in you, because it's got to bring about lasting change. And you will be so excited you did. So excited. When those of you that are academics look at this book and you read the first 3 pages and you go, 3 pages? Ugh, there's nothing here. There's no blanks to fill out. There's no essays to read. There's just a meditation. I challenge you to keep going and actually meditate, not just in the 3-minute session that Jonathan gives us, but throughout your day. Throughout your day, meditate on what God has for you through this amazing work. It will bring lasting change. So strap in and enjoy the ride. It's unlike anything you've ever done before. And if you're committed to knowing just who you are meant to be, you will find this journey well worth it, because your identity will be anchored in the divine that created you remarkable. You are, after all, his very first dream. In the show notes, I will take you to Jonathan Peddle's website, and there are meditations there to go with every single day. At the end of the day, however, there's also the meditations written down. But if you're watching this on YouTube, I would challenge you, because you have the technology, to go here and close your eyes. Instead of reading it here, go to the website, close your eyes, and let Jonathan speak over you. It will do you a world of good just to put your feet on the floor and rest in the Word, because the Word in the beginning was God and was with God. And it all starts there. Day 1, your God. In the beginning, God. Genesis 1:1. So open it up. Click on the button to press play. But get going. It's worth your time and it's worth your energy, because you are enough. Thanks, and I'll see you next week. So get your cup of tea and tell me how it goes in the comment section. Take care. Bye.